Hello, dear students. Welcome to the session. In today's session, we will discuss about the lubrication and bearings, which comes in Module 5. So, Module 5 that is having a heading of lubrication and bearings, and another bit with respect to Module 5 is anti-friction bearings. So, let us begin with the fundamentals of lubrication first, and then we will discuss about the bearing. And lubrication means that is a particular phenomenon or the process which is used to avoid the or to reduce the or to minimize the friction. So when the friction is exerted, say in all the machine elements, so the particular mating parts, they are having the relative motion between them, as we are already aware with this concept from theory of machines also or kinematics of machinery. So the moving parts of every machine which is subjected to friction as well as wear. So friction consumes and wastes the energy. But what happens if wear occurs? The dimensions are also reduced because of the breakdown of machine element or the components of elements due to wear and tear. Now, we will discuss wear later in other particular terminology or subjects. Now, we will take the concept of friction itself. So, friction that can be reduced by applying the lubricant in between or the particular fluid or the liquid in between two moving parts of a machine member. So, friction means what? Before that, lubrication, friction is the resistance to the relative motion between two surfaces which are in contact. So the function of the lubricant is to reduce the friction. To minimize the friction, we have to apply a particular substance that is called as a lubricant. Any substance placed between any two rubbing surfaces is called as a lubricant. And the phenomenon of applying the lubricant between two rubbing surfaces to minimize or to reduce the friction, so that is called as lubrication. So this lubrication that can be either of different kinds of lubricants that can be applied here. Say the prevention of metal to metal contact by means of intervening a layer. So what is called as a substance which is inserted in between or which is used in between two rubbing surfaces, which is usually a fluid or fluid like material. So the most oftenly used lubricant in between two moving elements where the metal to metal contact takes place, that is a liquid. So there are different kinds of lubricants such as liquid lubricant, semi-liquid lubricant, and then solid lubricant. So liquid lubrication that is used in our most preferred one. So examples for the liquid lubricants are vegetable oil or animal oil like castor oil, rapeseed oil, palm oil, olive oil, etc. So animal oil may be tallow oil or whale oil. So petroleum based oil also that can be used such as paraffinic and naphthenic based oils. So mineral oils are the most commonly used lubricants here because as they are uh, cheaper and available abundantly. And the next lubricant that is called as a semi-liquid lubricant or the particular grease or the main example for the semi-liquid lubricant or semi-solid lubricant is grease. So this grease is having a higher viscosity because of its thickness. So it is a thicker particular substance, neither a solid nor a liquid. So having or possesses high viscosity. What is viscosity that we will discuss later in the next bit. And these are used to for the slow and heavy pressure exists. And next comes the solid lubricant, that is the third kind of lubricant where these are useful in reducing the friction where oil films that cannot be maintained because of the pressure and temperature. Say in some of the situations what happens because of temperature and variation in the temperature as well as pressure, the viscosity of the oil that also affects. So therefore the required amount of or the film thickness in between two mating surfaces is not possible to maintain there. So in that situation solid lubricants they are most preferred. So these are useful wherever there is oil films that cannot be maintained because of the variation in the pressure and temperature. So most commonly used solid lubricants are graphite and wax, mica, soap, chalk powder, and etc., or talcum powder also. There are different examples you can give for the solid lubricant. So the purpose of applying these any kind of these lubricants minimize the is to minimize the friction or to reduce the friction, but it is not possible to eliminate the friction here. So as applied to machine parts, what we are dealing in the mechanical engineer or in this particular subject, so those machine components which are having or which are moving relative to each other, hence there is a proper lubricant as well as lubrication process that is to be applied. So the lubricant which is used in most of the cases in case of machine elements, that is liquid lubricant, that is with respect to different designations. The next comes properties of lubricant. So there are important properties that we have to discuss here. Say the first and foremost property is viscosity. So what is viscosity? Viscosity is nothing but the resistance offered by a layer to its adjacent layer, right, in with respect to the fluid which is flowing, right. So it is also defined as the property of fluid by virtue of which it offers the resistance to shear, or the another definition for this in terms of viscosity and velocity gradient. Say this is defined as the ratio of shear stress induced, or that is nothing but the resistance offered by the adjacent fluid layer that induces the shear stress is directly proportional to the velocity gradient, or you can say the particular constant or the proportionality constant is replaced by a constant term which is called as a viscosity or dynamic viscosity, which is defined as the ratio of intensity of shear stress to the rate of deformation or velocity gradient. That also we can say here. So this is one of the important property here. For more heat and pressure, greater viscosity is important since load carrying capacity is proportional to the viscosity. So this is another important thing why the viscosity property that is important in case of lubricants, as the most of the lubricants are having the liquid in nature. So the absolute viscosity that is denoted by the notation zeta z here, that is having a unit of Pascal second, that is Newton second per meter square, Newton second per meter square. So that is the unit of absolute viscosity. So the unit of absolute viscosity or dynamic viscosity is Pascal second, that is Newton per meter square second. And another term that comes here, that is kinematic viscosity, that is denoted by means of the notation zk, zk, and which is calculated as the ratio of absolute viscosity to the density or mass density. So kinematic viscosity is defined as absolute viscosity divided by the mass density, which is in Newton per meter cube. So 10 raised to 3, that is to be multiplied with the density value. Next comes the uh, another important definition, that is oiliness. Oiliness is defined as the property of the lubricant to arrange the molecules so as to decrease the resistance of the layer to sliding, so that if the particular lubricant which is applied on the surface or in between two rubbing surfaces, what happens, the smooth uh, motion or there is a layer is to be formed, so that there is no disturbance for the moment. So the slippery nature that is to be formed on the or in between the two rubbing surfaces. So flash point and fire point, another important properties. So flash point is nothing but the lowest temperature at which the application of a flame causes oil vapors to give a momentary flash. So with respect to a particular temperature, what happens with the introduction of a flame, the flash that is produced. So with respect to that, the flash point is also another important parameter while selecting a lubricant or liquid lubricant. Fire point is also similar to flash point. So this is also the lowest temperature at which the application of flame, introduction of application of flame, so oil vapors that starts burning continuously. So burning that takes place or fire exists. So that that is what the lowest temperature. So that lowest temperature that should be more than the operating temperature, then only that liquid lubricant that can be preferred. So the next thing, that is selection of lubricant, how the lubricant is to be selected. There are important factors are based upon the following factors, the liquid lubricant or the lubricant which is to be selected. So based upon the relative speed, temperature range, intensity of pressure between the mating surfaces, atmosphere in which the oil is to be or lubricant is to be used, the method of applying lubricant, and the life of the lubricant that is required, and friction losses, they are also allowed here. So these are the some of the important parameters based upon which the lubricant that is selected: relative speed, temperature range, intensity of pressure, atmosphere, method of applying lubricant, and life required. So these are the important factors to select the lubricant. And what is the purpose of lubrication? Say to the purpose of lubrication is to reduce the friction between the moving parts, to cool the parts. That means it acts as a heat carrying agent between the two mating surfaces where the friction exerts, so that the heat is generated there. So that heat is to be cooled out. So that therefore these lubricants, they are acting as a heat carrying agents. And these clean parts, so these are used for the cleaning purpose also. And these are providing the cushioning effect when there is a vibration or impact of a load that takes place on the mating surfaces, and to reduce the wear so that the life is increased, and the protection against the corrosion. So these are the some of the important parameters or the purposes for which the lubricant that can be used, or lubrication that is to be allowed, that is to reduce the friction, to cool the parts, to clean the parts, cushion the parts against the vibration, to reduce the wear, and to provide the protection against corrosion. And next thing that is there, that is the requirement of good lubrication. So what are the requirements that are required to provide a good lubricant? So it must have low sufficient viscosity. See, the viscosity that should not be very low or that should not be very high, so that should be moderate. So therefore sufficient viscosity that is required here. So if it is very high, means there is a more resistance for the movement of the parts. If it is very low, then means there is more friction that is possible. So therefore the viscosity that must be moderate or sufficient. And it should have the physical stability with regard to temperature and pressure. And then it should have high flash point and fire point. High flash point and fire point means more than the operating temperature. The chemical stability against oxidation, so there should not be oxidation that takes place whenever they are exposed to air. The resistance and the non-volatile, non-toxic, and free from corrosion, and easy fluidity, and at low temperature. So the next bit, that is the bearing. So bearings are what? Bearings are the supporting elements with respect to in which the shafts they are supported. So to provide the smooth rotation. So these are acts as a guiding member as well as supporting member. So these guides the rotation of the element as well as they support the shafts. And these bearings are usually stationary members. Stationary members. So there are different kinds of bearings are also we will come across. So here bearing a bearing, a machine member which supports and guide and restrain the moving elements. The common applications of the bearings are used in case of shafts, spindle of machine tools, lathe, drilling machine, milling machine, axles of automobiles, etc. And there are different kinds. Mainly there are two types. They say that is sliding contact bearing and rolling contact bearing. So sliding contact bearing means here the surface of the element or the machine member that is in contact or surface to surface contact takes place between the bearing surface and the mating member. But here in case of rolling contact bearings, the line contact or point contact that takes place in between two mating surfaces. So these are the two sketches that we can refer. Further, the sliding bearings and rolling bearings, they are classified as the journal bearing, partial journal bearing, and then hydrostatic bearing, thrust bearing, all those things. And rolling bearings are ball bearings, roller bearings, and a straight roller, taper roller, like that. There are different classifications. You just remember all these types. And after that, there are two kinds of bearings that we come across in this particular chapter. One is called as journal bearing or radial bearing. Another one is thrust bearing. So these things, they are classified based upon the nature of load that is acting on the bearing. Say if the load acting perpendicular to the axis of the shaft or the journal, which is called as a journal, then that is called as a radial bearing. If suppose the load which is acts along the axis or parallel to the axis or along the axis, that is what called as axial bearing or thrust bearing. Now if you consider the journal bearing, so the sliding contact bearing, in which the sliding action is along the circumference of the circle of arc, that is called as, and that carries a radial load, that carries radial load is called as a journal bearing. So the sketch which is indicated here, the particular central part which is rotating is called as a shaft or journal, and the supporting element or stationary element, that is called as a bearing. So that is what called as full bearing. So suppose if only partial connection or contact between the bearing and the journal, if it takes place, then uh, that is what called as partial journal bearing. So the particular angle included here, that is called as beta, or represented as beta less than 360 degrees. Examples or applications of journal bearing in case of crankshaft, steam engine, gas turbines, centrifugal pumps, concrete mixtures, etc. These we will come across where the journal bearings, they are preferred. Next, again, as we have already discussed, a classification of sliding contact bearing based upon the type of load carried, based on the type of lubrication, based upon the lubrication mechanism. So, based upon the load carried, type of load carried, bearings are radial bearings or thrust bearings. Thrust bearings takes only axial loads. Based upon the type of lubrication, that is what the how the particular film formation that takes place in between the two mating surfaces, whether this is a thick film lubrication or thin film lubrication. So with respect to thick film lubrication means the viscosity is more, and in case of thin film lubrication, the oily layer that is formed in between the two mating surfaces. And boundary lubrication is nothing but that is partially applied on the two mating surfaces. Example for this boundary lubrication that comes with respect to hinges used in the doors. Next, based upon the lubrication mechanism, so hydrodynamic, hydrostatic, elasto-hydrodynamic, boundary lubricated, and solid film lubrication. Next comes the mechanism of lubrication. Mechanism of lubrication or mechanism of hydrodynamic lubrication used in journal bearing. So this is the phenomenon where how the particular lubrication that takes place. Say here, hydrodynamic. Hydro means the particular liquid itself or the fluid, and dynamic action because of the rotating action of the shaft itself. The fluid which is present in between the two journal and the bearing is pressurized. See the example or the mechanism that can be explained by considering the journal which is trussed in the bearing initially, so that what happens, the center of shaft as well as center of the bearing, they are separated by a certain distance, which is called as an eccentricity here, and the shaft is in contact with the bearing at the lower end, so which is represented here with the point P. So in the next case, what happens when the rotation of the journal starts, so the point of contact that shifts towards the left when it is rotating in anti-clockwise direction. When the shaft starts rotating in anti-clockwise direction, the point of contact P is shifting towards left side of the bearing, and center point is also shifted towards the left side. So if if the rotation starts, if the rotation continues, what happens? This P point that shifts towards the right side and becomes P2. And further, when the shaft rotates with the higher speeds, so due to that speed rotation, so the gap between these two elements, shaft and the bearing, is filled with the lubricant or the fluid. So due to the rotation of the shaft as it increases, so what happens, the fluid which is surrounding this shaft or the journal gets pressurized, and that is going to immerse, or that is going to lift the shaft in the upward direction, so that the contact between the shaft as well as bearing is discharged or released, or there is no contact that we can see here. So the gap, or the due to the lifting of this shaft, what happens, the entire surface or the entire shaft is covered with the lubricant. So that is because of the rotation or the speed of the shaft at which it is rotating. So due to that, what happens, the weight of the shaft, the particular metal to metal contact is not possible here, and the pressure which is different at this particular region and at this particular region. So at the lower side the pressure is maximum, and at the upper side the pressure is less. So this pressurized liquid that lifts the shaft, so that there is a the contact between the shaft as well as bearing, that is avoided. So the pressure distribution that we can see here in this particular sketch, that is figure D. So there are different terms also that we can see. So this is about the mechanism of the lubrication, or hydrodynamic lubrication, or a theory of hydrodynamic lubrication. So with this explanation, I conclude today's session. In the next session, we will continue with the terminology and design procedure. Thank you.